money in the pockets of our farmers, families, and our communities. Now, we're friends and, of course, allies, and we're also members of NAFTA, and the benefits stretch beyond our borders. Just last month, I had a great meeting in Georgia with the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Sonny Perdue, and Mexican Secretary of Agriculture, Jose Calzada. The three of us came from that meeting united in our support of a strong and integrated agriculture and food sector right across North America. A couple of weeks ago, I had the privilege of entertaining Secretary Calzada at the Calgary Stampede. A fine-looking gentleman he is, and he looks really sharp in a white Stetson, I can tell you. NAFTA has been discussed across the three nations for good reason. Since NAFTA was signed almost a quarter of a century ago, North American trade has quadrupled. And that's something pretty important to remember. The increase in trade has created millions of good middle-class jobs, and that depends on our partnership and working together. NAFTA has also added billions to each of our economies, and trade has made us more competitive on the world stage. Now this agreement came into effect in the mid-90s at a time when things were different than today. While our countries received immense benefits from it, it's been 23 years ago. There's no question it will benefit from modernization, but it's vitally important to remember what it did and what it's doing. And just like any long-term partnership, it needs to be looked at. We want to make a good thing, and we want to be sure that we make a good thing better. My job, your job, it's clear. Make sure that we do that. At the end of the day, the agricultural sector in North America must be what it has been, a major building block of our shared economies and prosperity, and we continue to put good food on the tables of our citizens. And the best way to do that is doing what we are today right here, strong and open dialogue. As Secretary Perdue said in Savannah, our discussions must be founded on truth, trust, and trustworthiness. And I could not agree more. NAFTA has been such an umbrella of trust, allowing us to work together to make a strong relationship even stronger. It's a model for the world. It truly is a model for the world. And it has made us all wealthier. So based on all of this, how can we build on our common interests to form a more effective trade partnership? The answer is quite simple, in my books, to make sure we continue to work together. The good doctor talked about evidence-based, science-based. We can work so hard to make sure we work with the regular, it's different than medicine, and dare I enter into it, but the truth is, if we work together on all these issues, we make our trading, we become much more powerful as a country. And the closer we work together, the more competitive we come in the world. And just looking at the world, just looking at the Asian community, a growth of 6 or 7%, they want to eat as well as you and I did here today. With the growth and middle class expanding in these countries, as we're aware, they need the food. We got the farmers and ranchers in this part of North America that can produce that. Let's make sure we continue to do it. The long-standing partnership between the United States and Canada can continue to grow. We look forward to building on that partnership with the Trump administration. Prime Minister Trudeau and President Trump have both expressed a desire to strengthen that relationship. Of course, there will always be challenges. No friendship is without a little struggle from time to time. But the more we work together to address these common challenges, the stronger we will be. All of us agree that if we are to maximize the benefits of trade for our economy, trade must be based, as I said many times, on science. A science-based system is where we have to be. We need to look at innovative ways to make North America an even more agricultural market. And I think on that note, being a farmer and being appointed Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food for Canada, I was very proud. But just looking at what takes place and I mean we're in a much modern era today. I haven't shipped potatoes for 25 years. I pick potatoes on the ground with on my hands and knees. I grew seed potatoes for the seed potato growers in Prince Edward Island. The last potatoes we shipped, and as I said 25 years ago, what we sold never touched the human hand. And that's a quarter of a century ago. So innovation, if we wish to stay in the game, that's where we have to be. We need to continue collaborating on certain areas as plant and animal welfare, crop research, climate change, regulatory cooperation, and trade of biotechnology products. We are making progress in these areas, but we have to keep the momentum. We also need to cooperate more on the regulatory side. The Canada-US Regulatory Cooperation Council is doing its job. We're working together on plant and animal health, meat inspection, certification, and food safety. We also have an agricultural working group which is doing great work supporting and building the vital work of the RCC. By cutting red tape, we can cut costs, improve efficiency for our sectors across North America, become more competitive globally, and in the end, which I know is my job, is to put more money in the pockets of farmers. Looking down the road, we need to continue to focus on issues such as low-level presence of genetically modified organisms in bulk shipments of crops. It is important for North American countries to show strong leadership on low-level presence. It is critical for trade, and it's critical for food security. There is a lot we agree on, and we continue to work together in the best interests of our farmers and food processors around North America. Looking ahead, the prospect for agriculture is very bright, as I indicated previously. The world demand for food is growing. There is no question that our nations can meet that challenge with our high-quality food and world-class producers. There is a tremendous opportunity for us to work together on the world stage and to show the world the benefits of an open trade relationship to create jobs and grow the economy in all sectors. Getting there will take a lot of hard work at all levels, from the White House to Parliament Hill and provincial and territorial and state legislatures right across the continent. Our network of consulates across the U.S. is a great resource to help us strengthen our ties. The Pacific Northwest Economic Region is certainly a strong voice for collaboration between our countries. You have done some great work in promoting collaboration across our borders, and I certainly want to thank you for that, and I urge you to continue. Together we will work to support and create good middle-class jobs. We share a commitment to keeping our markets open and predictable so that trade can continue to grow. So let's keep the conversation going today, tomorrow, and the years to come. As Prime Minister Trudeau said to the state governors in Rhode Island earlier this month, let us keep talking as neighbors and friends should. And let's keep making history together. It's so important. Thank you very much. A pleasure.